Consuelos, Miss Marisol Nichols, Skeet Ulrich, Miss Madchen Amick, and the one and only Ringwald. All right, we've got the parents. It's the grown-up hour. And you can tell because we're doing it early. So we can wake up. So first footage, everyone just got to see this. Obviously, let's talk about the first episode back. It is absolutely gorgeous. This episode, you guys, it's unreal. Like, you did such a beautiful job with this tribute to Luke. How was it for you guys? How important is this for you guys to get this right?
I don't know about right necessarily, but I know it was very, very difficult for us all to in some way relive what was really incredibly painful. You know, we felt the need and the want, and but I don't think any of us really wanted to live in it again. But it's a beautiful episode. It was so well written and but incredibly hard to perform.
Oh, and Molly, for you had to do so many scenes that just are so beautiful, and it's almost like the comfort that the viewers need are getting it from Mary.
Yeah, for me, I felt like it was really cathartic. I mean, I think that we all sort of dealt with it in different ways. For me, I didn't get to go to Luke's memorial in Los Angeles, so it was really like my goodbye to him, and it was kind of like what I needed. You know, Luke was my guy. All my scenes were with Luke or KJ, so it felt like a really nice tribute and a nice goodbye for me to him.
And where the season ended and where we see all of you, you each get a moment where we see how this has affected you. And we actually see some really beautiful things coming out of this from people that aren't really great people.
What are you saying?
We got some problems there. But really, I mean, how has this changed things on the show for you guys? How's it been on the set?
You know, it's funny because Luke passed, and we had, 2 episodes to wrap up, and then we all left. And when we came back, you're right back in the incident as soon as you show up on set. Yeah. Right back there. And it's so hard because you expect to see him in Pops or turning the corner, or there was his trailer. And you feel him around. His spirit is still there and still with us.
Yeah, I mean, it does put things in perspective. I think, not that we didn't, have that kind of perspective to begin with, but you think about what happened and having some distance from it and then coming back, it gives you a little perspective.
Yeah. And like life, when you go through a loss, you go through it together, and then you go back to your life. And from what we saw in this clip, life continues in Riverdale, and you have certain things that just aren't going to change in Riverdale. You are still going to have incredibly sexy teens who are like run by their hormones and owning massive amounts of property, which I had a job at a video store, and then you also have convicts, and you have parents who are also really hot. So where do we pick up after this?
The first episode is set on July 4th weekend. And then episode 2, there's a little bit of a time jump. We start with the first day of school, senior year. So it's a little less raw, but there is sort of still this kind of air of melancholy, especially around the Andrews house. That's sort of something that Archie will be dealing throughout the season. But we do start some fun plots, and it is sort of the last gasp of high school, so we're doing a lot of stuff at the high school.
Okay. Do you have any of them taking pictures of their kids on last day of high school, like everyone else in the world does?
We actually didn't do that, but we will for prom night.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, nice. So a lot of shows, I've been covering shows for a long time with TV Guide, and a lot of times these teen-centric dramas, they'll have one cool parent character that breaks out. Did you realize when you were putting together the parental roles that this was going to be as much of a force in the storytelling as the kids were?
Yeah, we when we started developing Riverdale, there was a big, we really wanted the show to be about a town, not just a high school. And we really loved the idea that all the parents in the town had gone to high school, so that they all had some kind of relationship. But from the start, adding people like Mark, adding like Molly, adding Skeet, it's been really, really fun. It's always fun to write for the parents too, because when we write crazy stuff for the kids, we always get notes. But when we write crazy stuff for the grown-ups, they're like, great.
Really? So, all right, and they've all gotten crazy stuff to do. I mean, some really crazy stuff, except for Mary Andrews. Aside from defending her own child in a murder.
Crazy.
Yeah, I will say Mary does have an insane episode in episode 7, which is our Thanksgiving episode.
Nice. Okay.
And sort of at the end of the episode, Mary says to Archie, that was the strangest Thanksgiving I've ever had, and Archie says, "Welcome to Riverdale, Mom."
Nice. And will she? She won't need to make a dress for Archie for prom, but Molly does have experience getting ready for proms. Can we at least get her at a sewing machine?
For sure.
We can't do that to Archie.
Right?
Nobody should put me near a sewing machine.
All right, so we pick up, let's talk about balancing the darker stuff with actually telling tales of, they are adults, but they're not great at adulting. But talk about that, making sure that they never look like they're like child services need to be called.
I don't know.
Except
I
on
think
the lodges.
Except on the lodges. Yeah.
For me, honestly, all of the parents, they do cause trouble for each other and for their kids. But for me, I don't think there's any parent on the show that doesn't love their child, and everything they do, pro or con, there's still this love that they have. There's even in episode 1, there's a kind of a beautiful moment where Veronica realizes that her father has done something really, really nice for Archie. So I think we always try to ground it in that and their deep love for each other.
And I'm assuming you guys are very protective of your characters, so you want to keep, make sure oh no, this would just be too weird, or.
I don't think we've said that. No.
No, I have.
Oh, I was not talking about the lodges. Okay. Make sure the lodges are the monsters.
But there's things that Hermione did that seemed sort of out of character for her, starting in season maybe 2 or 3. And I had maintained that it's protect Veronica. This has to be about Veronica. Somewhere in there, it has to be about her.
Right.
Yeah.
And Alice, the whole first season, we were like, I think she hates her daughter.
Yeah, she's bad.
She's really disappointed in a straight A student.
Yeah.
But it was all to prevent her from making the mistakes that she had made.
Right, yeah. Roberto and I talked about, we sort of had an overall goal that I think that the more we built her up, the more sort of terrible she seemed on the outside, the farther she could fall when she fell. And then you got to really see what was going on, in her heart and what her intentions were and what she was trying to protect her daughter from. So it's been a great roller coaster ride that you think, oh, Alice isn't that bad, and then she does something, you're like, oh, no, Alice is bad.
Alice is bad.
But it's so fun and such a, I'm always challenged by Alice because, it's not, right, Mina? I'm not that bad of a mom. Hello? Mina's out there somewhere. But, not my instincts as a mother, but it is always because she loves her daughter and, she does things for that reason.
Did you know the twist was coming up in the finale? That she was undercover?
I didn't. I think there was maybe...
I was so deeply concerned.
No, you had a couple of episodes notice, I think.
Yeah, that's true that we were heading that way, but it was great. It was a great redemption. Yes.
And what was
She's been
that? What was that scene we saw of
I don't know, what was the scene we saw?
It was from episode 3.
What was it?
Episode 3 when you're in the motel.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like a Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like people are saying, "Oh," and I hear Riverdale. Is Riverdale done with the crazy? And I was like, well, episode 3 is pretty crazy.
Episode 3 is a great redemption for Alice. I can tease that.
All right. And now, talk about redemption. FP has risen from the ranks of, right? Like, he was just, like, we met him, he was a garbage person.
Oh,
And
easy
now he's
now.
like,
Easy.
I mean, he was a disaster. And then he broke our hearts, and then we thought he might be a killer, and then he broke our hearts again, and then he got his shit together, and now he's kind of like,
And then he got back with his ex-wife.
yeah.
Which one?
You know? But it makes the breaking up with the ex-wife so much sweeter.
Yeah.
Where is he? Is he now going to be like the father of a teen girl? Like, is this what FP is going to be going through?
I think he knows better than to cross any lines that direction. But I mean, that's the beauty of what Roberto creates. Are these, they're very duplicit. They're so human that you kind of you think it's one thing and then it's another, and ultimately what you find underneath it is that it's kind of all of us in a way, and maybe to not the extreme actions, but the thoughts behind them are very. I hope I'm doing good, but I don't necessarily know how to do good, but I'm trying to.
And that was the best part of watching him learn what the right thing to do was.
Yeah.
It wasn't until he had to deal with all this stuff. It was beautiful.
And this season so far, I mean, we're really setting up something equally as interesting. That's been a lot of fun to start to meet out. It's been really exciting. It's first of all, we come and work together, and I remember in the first season people asking, what is it about the parents? Why, what is it about this show in general? And me being the father of teenagers, I always felt like it was that time in their life. For teens in general, where they start to realize the flaws of their parents, and I think that's why the parents speak, so well to the audience of the show is that it's a reflection of, my mom does that, or oh, my dad, and it allows kids that out of, oh, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Have you guys heard from parents who have said like, oh, we did the same thing aside from the lodges?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, oh yes, I had my daughter.
I have a support group for people who have buried bodies.
Right. Yes.
And,
Like, no. Have you guys heard from parents who are like, clearly it's
Yeah, it's weird. Somebody came and said, yeah, I killed a guy on my kitchen floor too and had to clean up all the blood.
He had it coming.
Right?
Stand your ground, Laws.
I think it also gives grown-ups the excuse to binge watch this teen show too.
Which have any of you caught an adult watching it on a flight or anything? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I also think we make other parents look really good.
Oh, that's true. All right, let's talk about the lodges, because last time we saw them, they are incarcerated. It's got to be Hermione's worst nightmare is the outfit. But for Hiram, I'm assuming that he's loving being like
going to the gym.
He gets to be at the gym in a building that he built, so it's nice. Yeah, and he knows all of the staff.
Yeah, he hired them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that they're not like really on the up and up.
No, I think it's gonna be, it's probably his version of like a really good white collar prison for Hiram. It's a little bit of a vacation maybe.
Basically like a Barry's boot camp with lights out.
Yes, exactly.
How is prison for them, and how long will we spend there?
We spend a minute there, right?
We spend a little bit.
We start off, Roberto.
I think episode 5 is a big trial of the lodges episode.
Oh, so is that a Mary in court?
Mary is
Mary
in court
represents
representing.
Anytime there's a lawyer, it doesn't matter what kind of law.
It doesn't matter what kind of law.
Mary can do it.
Like traffic court, homicide.
We always say that. We joke when we write a lawyer scene with Mary that Mary's first line is, "Well, I'm no expert in copyrights, but," or "I've never tried this kind of case, but I'll help."
Right. So this is really the only time that we're going to get people out of prison that does not involve Cheryl and Tony breaking people out.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we get all this. Did any of you guys know what Endgame meant before you started this show?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
canon. Although that was something I learned.
Ship? I didn't know what ship was.
Yeah,
I
didn't
kind of
know
knew
what
what
ship
ship
was.
was.
Did you? You're cooler
Yeah.
than I am.
I had no idea I was old enough to be a legend until KJ entered the picture.
What about you, Molly? This is, this is you literally revisiting like your early career on steroids.
Well, I also have an almost 16-year-old daughter, so I'm living everything through her too. I'm living Riverdale through my daughter.
So she's got to see your movies and be like, this is like a black and white silent.
Oh, my movies.
Like, this is great. You guys had-
I'm in the Victorian era.
Right, yeah.
with
They're like,
my
you had
films.
detention? In Riverdale, they send them to, to prison. All right, so would you ever consider doing, because you had like the great, like the Midnight Club, you had, centric stories. Have you ever considered doing a PTA meeting episode where it's just the adults?
Where we serve drinks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We've talked about doing an adult-centric episode. We for every year we say, okay, this is the year we're going to do a key party for the adults, and and like we've never
The ice storm.
Yeah, and
Yes.
like it's like so we talk about it. I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down.
So
Yeah, because that's the great thing is like, these people make enough mistakes that they can make mistakes on each other.
Or we could
You know?
be the flash forward of the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Like way flash forward.
Yeah. Oh, right.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a really fun idea.
Turnabout. How did you guys feel about your younger selves?
Lily had my 90s look down.
Yeah.
She studied all of my 90s, like, photo shoots and everything, and she had my Spice lip liner. She did my curly big hair. It was great.
And the younger cast are such good mimics.
Yeah.
So I think at first they were really just doing great impersonations of all of you guys, which kind of got out of control a little bit, right, Roberto? Yeah. It was like they were doing such a great job. I mean, I had my son,
Right.
with me, which was really cool.
And does he mimic you at home anyway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I witnessed that last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no! All right, so for Mark and Marisol, there's such a fun like Tennessee Williams thing going on in this family, and instead of back porch in the South, it's the conference room or the boardroom or a very dark and smoky dining room.
Yeah.
How fun is it for you guys to sit there and play out these negotiations? Which are so well written and so tense, but also have to keep in mind, like, oh, these two will go at it all day. Like, they may fight, but they also, we saw.
No, it's super fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. We laugh about it all the time, and they're so competitive with each other that I know that if I get to the set early enough, that I will take the chair that she wants to sit in.
Oh my God.
And I'll tell.
We go to the read-through, and my chair is like this short.
Yeah, I'll give her the short chair, but I'll tell the crew, I'm like, watch, I'm gonna sit in this chair, and she'll be really pissed that I sat in this chair.
It's the head of the
And
dining room
so I'm
table.
sitting there, and she's like, how did you get that chair? I'm like, guys, $5, please.
Right.
No, but we have so much fun. We have a lot of fun. Yeah.
I mean, when Mark came on, it was the perfect fit for Hiram, and I loved, back in season 2, the introduction of him in the dark and saying that she drank his Cristal. If you remember that line,
Yeah,
it's amazing. And it's really fun. I mean, I feel like we work really good together, and they write really juicy.
And getting
juicy
juicier.
stuff.
There's
It's
some really
coming.
good stuff. As part,
coming.
because the love wasn't really there the first couple seasons.
Like a love
right?
/ hate.
It was like very kind of,
Yeah.
So I think
Business.
business. So I think we might delve into some other stuff.
Yeah.
That they actually have feelings for each other.
Yeah.
We don't know
There's
what
a
they
fine
are,
line between love and
yeah.
hate.
Very.
Prison can change a man.
That's right.
Yeah. So how often does Hiram steam? Because it seems like he only does business deals in a towel now, and thank you for that.
There's one episode we just did where it's like, oh yeah, there's a gratuitous Mark shirtless scene.
No,
there's another gratuitous.
No, the one we can't talk about too much because it's so great. But I rank it in the top 3 most ridiculously beautifully, just amazing, situations that I'm like, okay, great, I'm going to be shirtless in this. And he goes, you cool with it? I'm like, of course I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Well, also, all right, so I will also put this out. We were in California for the Television Critics Association in Riverdale. The parents were having a panel there, and I made the mistake of going to the hotel gym that morning while this one is working out. And if you ever want to feel like a hobgoblin, be in the room while Mark Consuelos is working out. Everyone was just like, I'm just going to eat my feelings into it was insane, but thank you, yes. And Skeet, you get the opposite. You're constantly putting on layers. Like this poor guy who just like, used to just be like t-shirts, jeans, and a leather jacket. Now he's got like a gun holster, the jacket, like everything. He's always outside. Are we ever gonna get to see this guy just chill?
Alice is going to try to unlayer him.
Oh.
I can't wait.
In the most recent episode, you see Skeet in his pajamas.
Oh.
And you may see him put on his serpent jacket again.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, because he's never too far from that past. Like at the end of last season, he's the law in town, but yet he very quickly agrees to go hold up Pops.
Something we haven't organically figured out how to show yet, and I've tried to figure it out, but the wardrobe department we had a discussion when I first became sheriff about how he's still a serpent at heart. Mm-hmm. And inside the cop coat is a serpent patch right there. Yeah. But we haven't figured out how to really expose that yet. So hopefully we'll get a chance to do that.
Maybe when he throws it off at Alice's house.
Right. We pan down to the floor.
Yes. Who is watching Veronica while her parents are in jail?
Right? Smithers.
Is that true? Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Kind of.
Okay. What? That's amazing.
There's in episode 2. There's a really hilarious scene. It's the last day before school, and Archie, Veronica, Betty, and Jughead are all staying at Veronica's because there are no parents there.
Yeah. And what does this mean for you, Molly? Are you now full time? Are you more recurring? What are we doing with you?
We're still figuring it out, but right now I'm recurring.
More often than not.
More often than not.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary's back in her town. She grew up in this town. It was always weird, but now it's like super violent, and you've got like kind of cults, and you got the killer teens, and does she ever think like maybe Archie and I should move?
Yeah, she's pretty much been saying that since day one. I think very first episode where you see me, or the second one, I'm trying to get Archie to move, and he's always saying no. And I think eventually she comes around to realize that Archie wants to make this town better, like his dad.
And have you figured out a way to kind of incorporate her into more of the town? Because now she's back.
Yeah.
So like now she has to have kind of interactions with all of these people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's never been a town that has needed a lawyer more than Riverdale.
There's never been a town that has needed a Mary Andrews.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and a moral compass.
Yeah.
I mean, Archie is kind of like the moral compass of the show, but it's hard. He sort of gets a little, he's a teenager, so he gets sort of lost. And Fred was really like his moral compass, and so I think Mary's kind of taking that place for him.
And can we expect to see like these parents kind of not warm up to each other, but like interact more on a social level that's not brought together by peril or pain?
Yeah, you do. Well.
Wait, are there other things?
If when and if Alice escapes the farm, she will be living in the same house as FP.
Oh.
And then
is that for like protective custody?
Right,
or?
exactly.
Are we talking like a bodyguard situation here?
Probably.
And then we have a really fun Thanksgiving episode that throws all of the parents together. Unfortunately, not for a key party.
Okay, all right. Okay, so if Alice is staying at FP's, who's now watching Betty?
Betty kind of lives there too.
Yeah.
It's a big, happy family.
Honestly. All right, so what can you tell us about FP's dad?
Ooh.
He's probably. I mean, we just are starting that, so he's FP doesn't fall far from the tree, let's say. There's not a whole
Which
lot to
side
say
of the
without.
tree? Because he's good and also serpent.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave that until we get there.
In our mid-season finale, I think we're gonna meet him, but sort of through the first few episodes, there's sort of this mystery about who Forsyth the First is, and I think Jughead has one sort of idea of who this man is, and FP, who was raised by him and had a hard time with him, thinks of him in a different way. So that's kind of a big family mystery that we'll be telling all season long.
Right. Okay. And you're also building out other families.
We are.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
We're really excited. We're meeting Veronica's older sister this season. Yeah.
What?
Her name is Hermosa. And she is as scheming as her father. I think at one point, Veronica says something, she's just like daddy, but a woman, so she's more dangerous.
I'm not her mother.
I was about to add, I'm like,
Yeah, no. This is
Okay.
the wonderful offspring of something else that.
what a
had done.
surprise.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay.
And Mark, you've had scenes with.
She's amazing. Yeah, there's the dynamic
Yeah.
with Cammie and the other actress. We can tell her.
Yeah.
Michelle Prada from the show
Vida.
which is.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But the four of us together, it's
Fun.
it's really really interesting.
Okay. And then any other family members coming to town? Any new, anything? Mom?
Well, remember in season 2 when Veronica had her confirmation?
Yes.
And Hiram's mom came to town.
Oh, God, yes.
She's coming back to town.
You know, Roberto, the fans really want Jessica Lange to play my mom. Can we do
That'd
that,
be so
please?
fun.
Please?
I believe that she's actually in New York this weekend.
Oh my
Let's go
God.
talk to her. Let's go
She
talk
is.
to her.
Yeah.
Let's pitch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
she was
there.
spotted at West Elm in Chelsea.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going right now. Bye.
I don't know why I know that, but it's true. Okay, so Gladys is left. I'm assuming that you all want to keep Gina Gershon in your back pocket.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the questions, I opened up my DMs to fan questions, huge mistake. And so many people wanted to know, two things that I got asked most about is, when will we see the FP, the phallus kiss? Which we did.
Oh yeah, you saw it
we
here in
saw
the
it-
trailer.
We saw
You did?
Yeah.
I see it.
There's like a.
Replay
It's
it.
actually
Replay
like,
it.
it looks like they're going in for a kiss, but we actually never saw the kiss. Will we see?
Did their
Yes,
lips
you will
touch?
see the kiss for sure.
And then, of course, because it's like, what would you like to see on Riverdale? It was like, will we see a phallus kiss? Will we see a phallus wedding? And it's like, that could happen too, because things happen fast in this town.
Yep.
And also, it would be a great way to put everyone together and then blow something up. And also, the deleted scenes. Last year, by now, they had seen all the deleted scenes. They'd been out there. Do you plan on releasing the things that we didn't get to see this season?
In season 4? Yeah, I think we always try to do. Sometimes we do them as DVD extras. Sometimes we just release them online. But I think fans really like that, and they're usually scenes we really like, but we have to lose for time. So yeah, we will do that.
Was there anything that you guys filmed this year, season 3, that you wish had made it onto screen because you were just so excited by it?
Season 3?
Yeah.
There was a scene with us in Bet, but contextually, I get why it's not there. But yeah, no, I can't really.
Episode 7 is your Thanksgiving episode. Is
Yes.
that also your short story telling kind of story?
No, you know what? We are doing a short story telling one, but 7, which is usually our 3 stories, and there are 3 Thanksgiving stories, but it's more like a regular episode of Riverdale.
You guys have been in New York this weekend. A couple of you were staying for a while to do some press and everything. Have they all asked, how do you get us onto Katie Keene? Because it's set 5 years in advance. Be like, can we be on Katie Keene if our character survives?
I've had some sidebars.
Well, everyone needs a lawyer, Roberto.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Katie might need a patent
sure.
lawyer. Okay, Marisol and Madchen, do you think that your characters kind of resent Mary for being the more traditional mom?
I think Hermione's way past that at this point. I think she had her shot, like season 1, and that went away
Right.
as soon as Hiram came back in town. And I think there might be not resentment, but there might be a little bit of respect that Mary gets to be the type of mom I think Hermione wished she would have been. But again, she made her bed and she's lying in it and she knows it, and that sort of motivates her choices and stuff.
It's a really nice bed, though.
Isn't it?
It's down, Egyptian
Rotation.
cotton.
So really, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it seems like Alice and Mary get along, as far as I can tell. I think there might be a little competition because Alice always wants to be the perfect mom. But yeah, I think it seems like so far they get along pretty well.
Well, nobody's actually brought up, I mean, for Mary being a traditional mom, she did leave her son,
True.
which is very non-traditional, and we sort of get into that a little bit this season, which I'm really glad about, because as a mother of 3, it's really hard to leave my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you want to, but you know, but you come back. But you know, all of these parents, for all of their quirks, they're there, and they've been there the whole time. So I think that's something that's interesting and complex about that
Prison's
character.
right down the street.
Exactly. Yeah. And what are we going to find out about Mary's time away from town? Because that's a whole period of time that we do not know about.
You know, we talk about it in the room all the time about, you know, that one day it's going to be revealed that Mary has a second family
Right.
in Chicago and things like that. So we are planning to do something, but not for a little while.
Well, she does have a lot of friends from Sarah
Florence.
Sarah
Yes.
Florence. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's always
I
introducing
had to
her
rewind that. I was
No,
like,
it's
did she say
true.
Florence?
It is true. That is a hint about what we've been planning. Yes, she has many friends from Sarah
Okay.
Florence.
I know, right? Yeah, you understand, Mark. What more are we going to learn about their past? Because we've gotten only the things that we needed to know based on the storylines that were going on. You know,
Which parents specifically?
the parents, their past at high school, like when they were growing up together.
God, you know, we always we're doing a big. We did a homecoming episode, season 1, that brought everyone together. We're doing kind of our last big homecoming, where we're gonna see, you know, Molly, you haven't actually had too many scenes with like Madchen. You had some stuff with Marisol, so that'll bring all the parents together, so we can see those dynamics. But really, the truth is, the one thing that's sort of bringing them all together this year is that their kids are graduating, and I think if there's one kind of big theme or story for the season, it's all of these parents seeing their kids become adults, and what that does to them.
Because none of them have ever actually had to say to them, like, you need to get a job.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, no, most of them.
They're just captains of industry.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so, Mark, what is Hiram's problem? There was something in the boxing scene where it's like, I won, I'm the better man. What is his gripe with this kid?
Well, I think anybody that's going to be in Veronica's life has to be perfect, right? And there's nobody that can be perfect. So
Have you seen KJ Appa?
yes, he's pretty perfect. So he's pretty close to
It's like
perfect.
he was hatched in a lab.
That's true. No, it's that you know, age-old thing that no one's good for your daughter, but he just takes it to the next level.
I have to tell a funny story about that. When we wrote that episode, that there was going to be a boxing match between KJ and Hiram, some of the executives were like, Roberto, this is crazy. I mean, you got a kid, you've got KJ, he's 22, going up against Hiram. I mean, Archie's going to kill him. And I was like, wait till you see it. And then I sent them a picture of Mark working out, and they were like, understood.
Yeah. Like, had they not been paying attention?
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
I mean, I also have to say is what Mark's a joy, because no matter what we throw at him, he just goes for it completely. We have him, you know, taking down Pop Tate in one scene, and it's just hilarious.
And he had, like, no shame in, like, destroying people's lives.
No, but when's the next chance I'm going to get to do something like that?
Well, in this town, every other week.
The character's delicious. He gets to do whatever he wants.
And so while the town has been in relative peace with these two behind bars, what is FP dealing with? Aside the search for Alice.
He's a part of that. You know, one thing we're playing is that when Hiram's in jail, weirdly, Riverdale is still even more lawless, because when Hiram was in power, crime was organized. Now it's sort of kind of it's a lot of little pockets of crime. Archie's gym is next to this place that we're calling Sketch Alley. We're kind of like all of the like wharf rats and low petty criminals hang out. So no, we're still doing crime stuff.
Okay, and Madchen, you get to have Charles is back.
Yes.
Yes. What can you guys tell us about how he's going to fit into all of this once he, does what we need him to do?
There was a scene where you see the entire family in one scene, so it was really
Is one
fun.
of them in a casket?
No, we got Charles, we got Jughead, Betty. We didn't have Polly in that one though.
Or Hal?
No, how?
Oh no.
Yeah.
All of the living family.
Okay, all right.
All the
okay.
living, yes.
But so is Charles going to stick around?
Charles sticks around.
Right. Okay. So when you add a new person, you
layered in.
you have to add another potential ship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is a potential ship
ship.
attached to Charles, for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything that you can tease?
No.
Nope.
That was teasing enough.
All right. So I've got some fan questions that I want to get to before we get to your questions, and we'll get to them in a second. At Varchi Polls wants to know, please ask Roberto if Varchi is going to sing more duets this season.
Ooh. Varchi has not yet sung a duet, but before the end of the school year, absolutely.
Okay. Any plans to make the parents sing?
You know, they will sing before the end of the year. We had a script that had Marisol and Cammie singing a duet that we had to cut for numerous reasons. But the will is there, so it will happen.
All right. Do any of you actually have musical
Skills?
You do, yes.
Singing in
Molly
the
does,
shower.
yeah.
Yes.
Molly does, and we already know Alice can play a musical. Oh, a musical episode?
Yeah, there'll be a musical episode.
All right. Doing another show, or it's different kind of idea?
I think hopefully doing another show.
Okay, great. And Mark, we're not going to ask you to sing, but I feel like you could probably dance.
I can dance, I think.
Yeah. Okay. We'd watch that. All right. At Kind Kayla says, I'm a huge Riverdale fan from Ontario, Canada. My Riverdale question is, if Riverdale did a Freaky Friday type episode, which character would you want your character to switch places with, and why?
Archie.
Why?
Yeah.
Because he's got this vigilante blood in him, and so Alice could, take out her aggression on the town. In Archie's body,
Yeah, right?
right? The damage that she could do with
Also-
Alice's willpower and Archie's body.
You
Come on.
could talk to Betty about you.
There you go. Yes.
What about you guys?
I take Veronica. I like her wardrobe.
Girl knows
It's
how to work a
very
cape
me.
coat. Yep.
I'd switch with Kevin just because Casey is probably one of the funniest human beings I've ever met. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'd do Betty, maybe. I'd like to do the sleuth thing. I'd like to be the detective stuff. I like stuff like that.
And I would be like, Betty, you're acting a little different today.
I think I'd do Reggie. I like he's got cool cars.
Right.
Yeah.
God, Reggie could be like a Hiram acolyte too.
He tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could
Flirted
like
with that.
Yeah. All right, that's awesome. Okay, hi, my question is for Molly. What is it like to go from being an 80s teen icon to being on this show that is so big amongst teens today?
I feel like teenagers and I have never really separated. I don't know. I feel like now it's pretty much just my destiny.
Right.
I went from those shows. I did Secret Life of the American Teenager, like Shailene's. I did the Kissing Booth. It's just that I don't know. There's just something that I guess I just need to work out psychically.
Or maybe I feel like you're kind of like the patron saint of teens.
I like that. It's better than the Teen Whisperer,
Right,
which
yeah,
sounds
you've
a little
been like
creepy
the
to
North
me.
Star
that's
for
kinda
teens for
creepy.
so long. Okay, at Rebecca Schwart wants to know, who is the craziest on set?
Oh.
KJ.
AJ's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he plays a lot of practical jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of energy.
Because he's like the youngest, right? Aside from Jelly
He is
Bean.
the youngest.
Yeah.
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 So he's
Of the
still
core
like,
cast.
yeah, he's still like a puppy basically.
He's a puppy.
But he's
Lab.
he is becoming a man though. I have to say it's been like, I mean, since we started, he really did look like a little puppy, and he's become much more angular and mature
He
and
works out for like 6
spiritual,
hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's solid. He's a good boy.
Kid. And that's something that, like,
Man.
you guys are really lucky in the fact that you have a cast of really good kids. Like, there's, because you guys, it kind of like, maybe it trickles down from the top, but like to have these guys there, almost like the guard. But you have good kids on the show. What's it like for you guys? I love this.
It's a moment.
I love this. This is a thing.
Sorry, I'm fixing her hair.
Yeah.
No.
How is it for you guys?
It's your hair is going all the way across your forehead. Okay, I got it.
Thank you.
I got it. Girl moment, okay?
Have you guys,
We have each other's back.
That's right.
as these, and that continues.
I forgot I was
that's-
here.
Right. That's something I feel like you're
Were
setting
you?
the example for these kids, but also how's it for you guys now that these kids are getting older now and you don't really need to be that maternal or paternal with them?
They always asked us, what advice do you give the younger kids? I'm like, they don't need any advice. They're like navigating it amazingly. They've really come into their own. I think they're amazing and really, really smart.
Plus, we were the young kids on a show once, and when the older cast,
I didn't
tried
listen to anything.
They gave us advice. I'm like,
No,
that guy's
you'd roll
really
your
old.
eyes. Yeah.
Right. And he was like
Ancient.
40.
Yeah, he's 40. Oh my God,
That's
he's
right.
old.
But KJ actually asks for advice, which I think is the sweetest thing, which I also think you can really tell that somebody's getting older when they ask for advice. Right. And I would never offer it if it wasn't asked, but it's very sweet. Right. Like he's trying to quit smoking, he's trying to quit, and so I've been getting him to chew cinnamon sticks. And then everybody on set started during the Thanksgiving episode. Everybody was chewing on it. It's becoming a trend, just so you know. It's starting
So we're
here in
replacing
Riverdale.
vaping now.
Yeah.
So
It's
get
great.
to your
You
Whole
can
Foods.
chew on it all day.
Yeah.
It's
I
good
didn't
for
even
you.
know
It
about
kind of
that.
No, but he actually asked for advice about like what did you do in this case or what did you do in that case, and I think it's so moving to actually have a young person ask my advice. My kids don't want my advice, so at least my TV kid does.
Right. All right, we're going to go to some audience questions. Oh, there we go.
I nice to meet you. I'm autistic French Canadian, and I'm a big fan of you in the series. It's fabulous. Skeet and Molly.
Merci bien.
And
Thank you.
question, it's I have a project for my room to create a wall of fame for my favorite artist. And for me, it's an honor to take a selfie with Molly and Skeet.
Do you want to do that now?
Yes.
All right, come right
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. We all do.
Hello. So I was going to ask something about Pure Heart the Powerful initially because I saw something about it in the trailer, but I'd rather keep it a surprise. This person actually brought something up. Does Betty ever get her money back from the farm?
We addressed that
that.
in episode 8.
Of season 4?
Yes.
Sounds good. Also, Pure Heart the Powerful. That's what he's. That's what the superhero thing is.
That's part of the Halloween episode.
Oh. All right. Just that was simple. Huge fan of the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi. So my question is if, you know how, well, the farm was, obviously everyone is not very happy with them. I'm wondering if we're ever going to get payback, or like any of the characters are going to get payback on the farm.
Yes, there's a very good payback happening in episode 3. Stay tuned.
Hi. My name is Tiffany from Brooklyn. I want to say hi, Mark. I've been a big fan since All My Children.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. My question is about the twins. One, did they really fly? And 2, are they going to keep those names?
Dagwood and Juniper?
Yes.
Yeah, they're Dagwood and Juniper forever.
We just keep them tied on a string so they don't fly too far.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I also have a question about the twins. Are they gonna be like be back together, or are they gonna be separated? Because
No, I think that whatever happens to the twins, they'll always stay together. But it is true. Every so often we'll be like, oh, and don't forget Cheryl's taking care of twins. So we're reminded of them. But they're going to stay together.
Any plans to age them?
Never say never.
Because any of you that worked on soaps, you
Yeah,
know
no, they come back
a
and
newborn can come back at 18.
Yeah.
I know, it's happening.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm from Argentina. Skeet, big fan.
Thank you.
And my question is for Roberto. Your show speaks to different generations, and you have some of the most iconic 80s and 90s stars. So how did you envision this, and did you think they were going to say yes?
No, I didn't think they were going to say yes. No, I think it's, I'm at a place in my life where I now more associate with the parents on the show than the kids. And we did always want it to be multi-generational. And I think probably, one of the first parents we cast was Luke. And I was so shocked and humbled when he came in to audition, and he said, and I even said, Luke, why are you auditioning? And he said, I have a son, and he's just like Archie. Oh. And so that kind of set the tone, I think. And I'd grown up watching Luke on 90210, so that was nice.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm Luis from Colombia. Hola Roberto.
¿Cómo
Hola
estamos?
Mark, Marisol.
Hola.
Hola.
My
Hola.
question is for Molly. Oh, hola. I've been following you since the Breakfast Club, and
Thank you.
and first of all, how do you feel when you find out that they're going to shoot the Midnight Club, especially when one of the part of the original cast of the Breakfast Club? And second, there's any other episode that involve another special, I don't know, tribute to any shows that we've seen before? I don't know.
That's a question for Roberto, actually.
One thing that we're talking about that I think could be really fun is, one of our big influences is obviously Twin Peaks. And one thing we're talking about is really doing a David Lynchian episode, like really committing to that, which I think would be really fun.
Can I direct that one?
Yeah,
Oh
maybe.
my God.
Make it be, yeah, make it be.
Maybe.
That would be. And Molly, how did you feel when you saw the Breakfast Club was being done?
I thought it was funny. I was curious to see how they would go about it. But yeah, it's amazing to me that those films, still speak to people and they're still interesting, and I think it's great.
All right.
My name's Anna, and I was wondering if there's ever going to be the Riverdale and Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina crossover.
We're trying to make it happen. We're seeding hints left and right, so you'll see more of them this year.
Thank you.
Hi, my question is, what can you tease about Cheryl for next season?
Cheryl has a really fun arc that actually climaxes in episode 9, which is our mid-season finale. And what I love about that is that it sort of finishes a story that we've been telling with Cheryl from the pilot, truthfully. And that's about kind of saying goodbye to her brother. But she's sort of our gothic heroine. So she's sort of like in Flowers in the Attic. She and Tony are in Thistle House, which may or may not be haunted. But she's got really fun stuff.
And yes, actually, the fandom will actually hunt me down if I don't ask a Tony question.
Okay.
So you've seen what happens on other shows when you mess with a ship like that.
Yes.
It's terrifying. You don't plan on...
They're going strong and no plans to disrupt that boat.
Good. And any plans for Jughead to hand the serpents over to Tony?
We've talked about that. We have actually are just starting to kind of, because Jughead's at I don't think it's a spoiler to say he goes to a private school. We haven't seen a lot of the serpents, but we're getting to a place where we're going to be seeing them more and more.
Okay. So somebody's got to run them.
Somebody's got to run them.
And I think Tony is perfect for that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mairead, and I was wondering how your personalities affect your character and vice versa.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Right?
I mean, I think they all come out of, you know, our view of the world, our hearts.
Speak for yourself.
Well, no one can speak for you. But really, you become a servant to the writing, and the fun is trying to weave other viewpoints into your character. So, I mean, it's inevitable that they're a piece of us, but yeah, it's hard to describe.
I
to
also
be honest.
feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, Roberto, you kind of write to people's strengths too, as you see what we do and what we do well and what we seem to really enjoy doing. That sort of informs the writing.
We try to that. You know, and I with most of these guys, we check in periodically about their characters and what they're doing and what they want to be doing, and that's fruitful. It's helpful for us to hear from them as well.
Okay. Which side would we on? I think
Hi.
that one.
I'm Emily, and recently on Instagram, CW posted a video about how they're going to go back to the roots of season 1. I just want to know, since so many things has happened since season 1 to season 3, what you're going to tie into from then into this whole new season, because we were left off with very little of the flash forward as we were presented. So I just wanted to know how you were going to take like the roots of what that specifically was and tie it into the new season.
You know, I think one of the big differences from season 2 and season 3 to season 1 is that season 2 and season 3 both had basically serial killers running around. So it kind of turned into kind of a serial killer show, whereas season 1 it was sort of a slower burn mystery, who killed Jason Blossom. I think in the season we're doing now, it's also a sort of slower burn mystery. You know, what happened that fateful night that we did the flash forward to. But we are seeing more stuff, more high school stuff. We're seeing more character stories, I think, and that's been really nice.
All right.
Hi, I'm Josh. Just wondering how the seniors are going to be choosing their colleges or looking at future plans after high school.
You know, it's funny. We're really getting into that right now. We're seeing some of the kids go on interviews. We're seeing some of the kids getting rejected from their schools. We're seeing some of the kids get accepted to their schools. So it's sort of a hodgepodge.
Did you ever consider splitting senior year into 2 seasons?
You know, we talked about it briefly. I mean, the truth is the kids are, they're graduating past high school age, and I feel like I'd hate to be repeating stuff or treading water. So the idea is like, let's just keep pushing forward.
what if Hiram gets out of prison and then decides he's going to actually now build a college?
That is possible.
Right.
That is possible.
That's a great idea.
And the lunch lady's going to be a brothel owner.
The jail will be turned into,
Yes,
into a college.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, there's an Ivy League school in Riverdale. You may not have known that.
Of course there is. Of course there is. Like, okay.
Hello, my name is Anthony, and I wanted to ask all of you, is there anything that your characters have not done yet and you want to see them do?
Alice.
Drop the mic. Walk away. Can't beat that. Can't beat that.
Wow.
There was that was amazing.
Can't follow that up. You
Amazing.
Just
As the clock ticks
Right,
down.
yeah, we got to.
Nine.
Real quick, there was a little scene in season 2 where there was this little tease about Hermione being the boss behind stuff.
Yeah.
I think one day that would be really, really fun to explore.
Nice. All right. Anyone else?
I would like to go head to head with Hiram. Like have it out with Hiram. That would
Yeah,
be
because
fun.
she's got like mama bear anger with this guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think that what I wanted to see Alice get into more of her reportering, which she does. So
Awesome.
we're exploring- Reportering.
All right, I rescind my.
Alice
my
Smith,
answer.
RIVW.
All right. That is
Reporting.
your peek into the world
Reportering.
of Riverdale's adults. You guys, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.